2192.
Are you familiar with this proposed group that they're trying to put together on this study of your report and other things? Two from the House, two from the Senate, somebody in the court, a couple outsiders.
No, I haven't heard of that. I've seen the reports on the Senate investigating committee that they've been talking about.
Yeah, well, we think if we don't have, I want to get by just with your file and your report.
I think it'd be very, very bad to have a rash of investigations on
Well,
this
the
thing.
only way we can stop them is probably to appoint a high-level one to evaluate your report.
Yeah.
And put somebody that's pretty good on it from that I could select out of the government and tell the House and Senate not to go ahead with the investigation.
Yes.
Because they get up there and get a bunch of television going, and I thought it'd be bad.
It'd be a three-ring circus. Yeah.
What do you think about Allen Dulles?
I think he would be a good man.
What do you think about John McCloy?
I'm not as enthusiastic about McCloy. I knew him back in the Patterson, when Patterson was down here, the secretary thing. He's a good man, but I'm not so certain as to the matter of the publicity that he might seek on it.
Mm-hmm. What about General Nordstad?
A good man.
I guess Boggs has started it in the House. I thought maybe I might try to get Boggs and Jerry Ford in the House, and maybe try to get Dick Russell and maybe Cooper in the Senate.
Yes, I think so.
I don't know. You know anything? Any reason? Just talking to me and you're going to talk like brothers.
Yes.
No other is any reason? Any there? I thought Russell could kind of look after the general situation, see that the states and their relations.
Russell would be an excellent man.
And I thought Cooper might look after the liberal group.
Who's that?
Cooper from Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, Cooper.
So they wouldn't think that he's a pretty judicious fellow,
Yeah.
but he's a pretty liberal fellow.
Yes.
I wouldn't want Javits or some of those folks on it.
Javits plays the front page all the time.
Cooper's kind of border state.
Yes.
It's not the South. It's not the North.
That's right.
Do you know Ford from Michigan?
I know of him, but I don't know him. I saw him on TV the other night for the first time. He handled himself well on that.
You know Boggs?
Yes, I know Bob.
He's kind of author of the resolution. That's what I
Yes, I know him.
Now, Walter Jenkins, that you've designated Deke to work with us like you did on the Hill.
I have, yes.
I tell you, I sure appreciate that. I didn't ask for it because I knew you knew how to run your business better than anybody else. And I just want to tell you, though, that we consider him as high class as you do, and it's a mighty gracious thing to do, and we'd be mighty happy. And we salute you for knowing how to pick good men.
Well, that's mighty nice of you, Mr. President, indeed. We hope to have this thing wrapped up today, but we probably won't get it before the first of the week. This angle in Mexico is giving us a great deal of trouble because the stories there of this man, Oswald, getting $6,500 from the Cuban embassy. And then coming back to this country with it. We're not able to prove that fact. But the information was that he was there on the 18th of September in Mexico City, and we are able to prove conclusively he was in New Orleans that day. Now then they changed the date. The story came in changing the date to the 28th of September, and he was in Mexico City on the 28th. Now the Mexican police have again arrested this woman, Duran, who's a member of the Cuban embassy, and we'll hold her for 2 or 3 more days. And we're going to confront her with the original informant who saw the money pass, so he says, and we're also going to put the lie detector test on him. Meantime, of course, Castro's hollering his head off.
Can you pay attention to those lie detector tests?
I would not pay 100% attention to them. All that they are is a psychological asset in an investigation. I wouldn't want to be a part to sending a man to the chair on a lie detector. For instance, we have found many cases where we've used them, and in a bank where there's been embezzlement, and a person will confess before the lie detector test is finished, more or less fearful of the fact that the lie detector test will show them guilty. Psychologically, there's that advantage, because it's a misnomer to call it a lie detector, because what it really is, it's the evaluation of the chart that is made by this machine, and that evaluation is made by a human being, and any human being can be apt to make a wrong interpretation. So I would not myself go on that alone. If, on the other hand, if this fellow Oswald had lived and had taken the lie detector test, and it had shown definitely that he had done these various things, together with the evidence that we very definitely have, it would have just added that much more strength to it. There's no question but that he is the man now with the fingerprints and things that we have. This fellow Rubenstein down there, he has offered to take the lie detector test, but his lawyer's got to be consulted first, and I doubt whether the lawyer will allow him. He's one of these criminal lawyers from the West Coast, and somewhat like a Everett Bennett Williams type, and almost as much of a shyster.
Have you got any relationship between the two yet?
Between Rubenstein?
Yeah.
No, at the present time we have not. There was a story down there that...
Was he ever in his bar and stuff like that?
There was a story that this fellow had been in this nightclub, this strip-tease joint that he has, but that has not been able to be confirmed. Now, this fellow Rubenstein is a very shady character, has a bad record, street brawler, fighter, and that sort of thing. And in the place in Dallas, if a fellow came in there and couldn't pay his bill completely, Rubenstein would beat the very devil out of him and throw him out of the place. He was that kind of a fella. He didn't drink, didn't smoke, boasted about that. He is what I would put in the category one of these egomaniacs. He likes to be in the limelight. He knew all the police in that white light district where the joints are in there, and he also let them come in, see the show, get food, and get liquor, and so forth. That's how I think he got into police headquarters, because they accepted him as kind of a police character hanging around police headquarters, and for that reason raised no question. Of course, they never made any moves as the pictures show, even when they saw him approaching this fella, and got up right to him and pressed his pistol against Oswald's stomach. Neither of the police officers on either side made any move to push him away or to grab him. It wasn't until after the gun was fired that they then moved. Now, of course, that is not the highest degree of efficiency, so to say. Secondly, the chief of police admits that he moved him in the morning as a convenience and at the request of the motion picture people who wanted to have daylight. He should have moved him at night, but he didn't. And, those derelictions in that phase. But so far as tying Rubenstein and Oswald together, we haven't as yet done so. There have been a number of stories come in. We've tied Oswald into the Civil Liberties Union in New York, membership into that, and of course into this this Cuban Fair Play Committee, which was pro-Castro and dominated by communism and financed to some extent by the Castro government.
How many shots were fired?
3.
Any of them fired at me?
No,
all 3 at the president.
All 3 at the president, and we have them. 2 of the shots fired at the president were splintered, but they had characteristics on them so that our ballistic expert was able to prove that they were fired by this gun. The 3rd shot, which hit the president, he was hit by the 1st and the 3rd. The 2nd shot hit the governor. The 3rd shot is a complete bullet that wasn't shattered, and that rolled out of the president's head. It tore a large part of the president's head off, and in trying to massage his heart at the hospital, on the way to the hospital, they apparently loosened that, and it fell onto the stretcher, and we recovered that, and we have that, and we have the gun here also.
Were they aiming at the president?
They were aiming directly at the president. There's no question about that. This telescopic lens, which I've looked through, it brings a person as close to you as if they were sitting right beside you. And we also have tested the fact that you could fire, those 3 shots were fired within 3 seconds. There's been some stories going around in the papers and so forth that that must have been more than one man, but because no one man could fire those shots in the time that they were fired. We've disproved that by the actual test that we've made.
How did it happen? They hit Connolly.
Connolly turned to the president when the 1st shot was fired, and I think in that turning, it was where he got hit.
If he hadn't turned, he probably wouldn't have got hit.
I think that's very likely.
When the president got hit, the 2nd one?
No, the president wasn't hit with the 2nd one.
I see if Connolly hadn't been in his way.
Oh yes. The president no doubt would have been hit.
He'd been hit 3 times.
He would have been hit 3 times.